There was a French scholar in 1770 who put together about 300 men and 500 horses and mules in New Orleans, who then made their way up northwest. They found gold in the area that is now the town of Summitville, Colorado. It is said that most of them died at the hands of Indians local to the area. Before they decided to travel back to New Orleans to regroup, they determined to hide the gold at the site in which they had previously found it. It took around 1 week to move all of the gold in place to be hidden and would have been known to be the biggest cache of gold in the U.S. It is said that most of them died at the hands of Indians local to the area. Before they decided to travel back to New Orleans to regroup, they determined to hide the gold at the site in which they had previously found it. It took around 1 week to move all of the gold in place to be hidden and would have been known to be the biggest cache of gold in the U.S. Reme gained funds from the future governor of the city, at the time just a baron, in the year of 1780 in New Orleans. He took 40 men with him and ended in around the same area as the party from 1770. And had traveled from that point to what is now called Treasure Mountain in the current day. Many of them were killed as with previous expeditions, with very few left to make it back to St. Louis. They had worked the same gold deposit for about 5 years, only to return to town, out of fear for their lives. In their haste to return, the group, just as the earlier expedition had done, left all of the gold in the shaft in which they had mined it. The amount of gold left over was now smaller than the earlier cache. Reme had created 2 maps before the others died off, leaving only he and one other to be the sole survivors of the trip from Treasure Mountain back to St. Louis. He was the only one to come home to New Orleans, the other staying behind in St. Louis. It is estimated that at the time, the gold hidden was worth up to $33 million. In 1810, with 2 failed gold mining attempts in the Treasure Mountain region, in which both had started and ended in New Orleans, a new operation begins to form once again in the New Orleans area to retrieve the gold stored in the mine shafts. No further attempts were made until the 1800s. Though changes were about to take place in New France in the year 1803. It was to be sold to the United States. With the United States purchase of New France in the Louisiana Purchase, the area in which the gold was hidden was now under the jurisdiction of American territory. James Madison, only a Secretary of State at the time, was a very important person in establishing this purchase of land. The most interesting fact is that he was the cousin of Captain Thomas Beale of New Orleans. Beale was captain of Beale's riflemen in the Battle of New Orleans in 1815. His wife, Celeste Grand Prix, daughter of the governor of Baton Rouge in West Florida during the time. The possibility that this Captain Thomas Beale knew of the map that Reme had created, which held the location of the hidden gold, is very high. In 1785, Reme had worked very hard to put together a group, to go and retrieve the gold that had been lost, with no success. According to the Beale papers, the average time working to mine gold did not line up with the time needed to perform the task that they had before them. There seems to be evidence that this was a simple excavation attempt of the lost gold, that once was mined before. The most likely course of events was the use of a small group of people working from information from the map, with Beale as its leader. From 1810 to 1820, Beale had close ties to the United States government. It is through these government ties that it was possible for him to have had contact with the map, or come into possession of it. Another contributing factor could be that his wife, who was the daughter of the Spanish governor of West Florida who died in 1809, had been a major part of the acquisition of this map. This possibly would be evidence pointing to not a hunting and mining adventure but a lost gold recovery project. Is this Captain Thomas Beale of the Beale papers? We may never know. At this present time, only page 1 and page 2 have been fully decrypted. With no, his second quote "I Beale Captain of Me Trust" is so far the only statement of who he is.